if I omitted nuts from my diet for about 6 to 8 weeks or so, would my cholesterol change? Would my blood sugar change? Would I lose weight? Why did I do this? Well, I don't really need to lose weight, but if omitting nuts could make my waistline a little smaller, that might be something to consider, although I do really, really love nuts. And the other thing is my cholesterol has been rising and has been continuing to rise. I have type 1 diabetes, so if there's any way I can lower my blood sugar naturally, I am interested. In 2017, my LDL cholesterol, so that's the bad cholesterol, was 132. And ideal is less than 60. So in 2020, I went vegan, dropped to 85. So it went from 132, and this was, again, my LDL cholesterol, from 132, a little too high, to 85. So that's a 42-point drop. And one explanation for this is that I omitted foods that contain cholesterol. And animal products contain cholesterol. All animal products contain cholesterol, and no plant products contain cholesterol. So if you're removing the cholesterol from your diet, it makes sense that your cholesterol would go down. And that's exactly what happened to me. But why did it keep rising? That was what I wanted to figure out. So my LDL was 85, and then it went up to 87. And each time I took my cholesterol readings, it kept going up. 87 to 98 to 108 to 109, and then it dropped to 107. Big deal, 2 points. And cholesterol does fluctuate, but then it went up to 120. So LDL at 120, that's a little bit too high. So my doctor told me I should take a statin, and he was really pushing me. And I'm thinking, why? Is he gonna get kicked back? Like, what's it to him? I'm thin, I exercise. It's a little bit higher than it should be, but it's nothing crazy. It's not crazy high. And my total cholesterol, so you don't want to just look at, one LDL. You want to look at the whole big picture. So my total cholesterol in 2008 was 201. Now, ideal is less than 150. So in 2008, it was definitely too high. Again, when I went vegan, after a year when I was vegan, it was 149. So 201 to 149, which is a 52-point drop. That's pretty incredible. That's awesome. So why is my cholesterol rising? And so that's what I was trying to figure out, and looking at all my results, trying to look for patterns. And one thing is Dr. Lori Marvis. Now, she's a plant-based doctor, and she said that women over 40, our estrogen drops considerably. And one of the benefits of estrogen is its lowering, cholesterol lowering effect. So with lowered estrogen, cholesterol rises. And so I presented that possibility to my doctor, and he said, yeah, that might be why. And he said, but still take a statin. So some people say, well, just take a statin. Well, let's look at some of the side effects of statins. So per WebMD, again, these are just some of them. Weight gain. Who the heck wants to gain weight? Most people want to lose weight. Hair loss. I want to keep my hair. I mean, I think men do too. Geez. Rashes. That's not pretty. Diarrhea. That doesn't feel good. Kidney failure. Okay, that's huge. Memory loss. That's scary. Increased blood sugars. Okay, I'm already diabetic. I don't want them to be higher. I don't want to inject more insulin. Okay, liver and pancreas inflammation. My pancreas is already damaged. I don't need more damage. Muscle pain, muscle loss, and muscle damage. I'm a personal trainer, and I work really, really hard to gain muscle, and I want to keep that muscle. So one of my clients, she was taking a statin, and all of a sudden she started complaining. oh, her legs were hurting and ow, 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 just complaining. And I'm thinking, what happened? You know, you were fine. She says, oh, my legs, after our last workout, my legs were hurting so much at night. And I said, I gave you a really easy workout. You know, she's an older woman, so I don't give her, her weights are like 1 to 3 pounds. And I only have her do like a set of everything. And it's not a hard workout at all. I said, what's going on? What changed? And she told me her doctor put her on a statin. And sure enough, that is the side effect. And it affected her very quickly and very severely. And yeah, you might not get all these side effects, but you're going to get some. And side effects means damage to your body. So just because you take statin doesn't mean you're not going to have a heart attack. It just supposedly reduces the risk. So anyways, she cleaned up her diet and she got off the statin. Muscle pain went away. Okay, so I really don't want to take more drugs. Insulin's enough. So again, why was my cholesterol level rising? Again, so we talked about hormones. But also, if you eat a high-fat diet, your cholesterol is going to go up. Even if you eat a zero cholesterol diet. And it depends on what you're eating too. Like if you're eating foods that are high in saturated fat, like chocolate, peanut butter, coconut oil, that's going to raise your cholesterol pretty high. But I was not eating those foods. But what I was eating, nuts, and certain nuts are more likely to raise your cholesterol. And so I was really enjoying my cashews, not the healthiest nut. Walnuts are, so I really was enjoying those a little too much. And I do not generally eat oil, but sometimes we'll go out to eat and those foods do have oil in it. And seeds, yeah, I like seeds. And I was eating a lot of flax seeds, which are extremely healthy, high and really good omega-3 fats, which is excellent for healing, but it is a high-fat food. I was eating avocado and olives. So I was thinking, well, I've tried all sorts of things. Let's do this. Let's reduce those foods really, really low. These high-fat foods. All these plant-based doctors are recommending a low-fat, plant-based vegan diet. So I thought, I have done that, but I haven't done very, very, very low fat. So I thought, I'm going to see if I can go really low fat, 10% or less, because 10% of fat from your diet, which is 10% calories from fat, is ideal. And if you read the China study from Dr. Colin T. Campbell, definitely amazing read. This researcher who looked at all these different studies from around the world and came to these conclusions, and this was based on the results of so many people, thousands and thousands of people. And so based on the China study, all the studies that are in the China study book, all these doctors that are really knowledgeable about nutrition are recommending that people stick around to 10 to 15% fat in their diet. So, but I wanted to go lower. So I decided I'm going to limit my fat intake to 10 to 15 grams of fat per day and about over 2 months time period. So not only did I decide I'm going to eliminate the nuts, I'm going to reduce all my fat, because I remembered that when I was doing this particular diet for about 8 months, I wasn't eating any nuts, 0 nuts, and my cholesterol was higher than it should have been. So I thought, okay, let's go really, really low. So that's what I did. And I know I did this because I was counting the grams in an app called Chronometer. So when people say, oh, I eat low fat, you don't know until you plug in the numbers. So I would periodically plug in my numbers just to make sure I was eating very, very low fat. So this is after about 2 months, my total cholesterol, which was 192 before I decided to go very low fat, and it dropped to 161. So that's a 31-point drop. So I was really happy about that. My LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, was at 120. So optimal is less than 100. So it was 20 points over. So it went from 120 to 91. So a 29-point drop. Really happy about that. Triglycerides, I really wasn't concerned about because mine was fine, you know. So my triglycerides, before I decided to try this very low fat diet, was 115, and optimal is less than 150. And so I was really optimal, but it went from 115 to 106. So that also dropped, and that my triglycerides dropped by 9 points. So all my fats in my body dropped. So that was amazing. Now, Dr. John McDougall, super famous, wrote the Starch Solution. He also recommends a low-fat, plant-based diet, no animal products, and he said if for some reason eating a low-fat, plant-based diet around 10% fat, 80% carbs, 10% protein, if that still doesn't keep your cholesterol at a healthy level, he suggests taking berberine, so starting at 0.5 grams up to 1.5 grams a day, no more. And that supposedly lowers cholesterol and can lower blood sugar. You can look it up. It has all sorts of benefits that help a lot of people. Now, I did not try berberine, but what I also added to my diet was moringa powder. So I thought, you know, I'm going to be very transparent and let you know everything that I did in case the moringa powder made a difference. I don't really know if it did or not. And I wasn't consuming very much, about less than a quarter of a teaspoon a day. And I just put it in a capsule. So the brand I have been eating is called Organic India, because some brands will have different effects. Maybe the content, where they got the product, the environment where it came from, you know, the heavy metals that may or may not be getting it. So I'll put down the exact name where I got it. I just got it from Amazon. And you can put a little in your smoothie, but I don't like the way it tastes, so I just put in a little capsule. And okay, so the other thing I wanted to know, would I lose weight? No, I didn't. I did not lose weight, but I increased my carbohydrate intake. So if I'm going to reduce my fat, I got to do something else. Otherwise, I'm going to be too hungry. So I ate a lot more carbs, and I do eat a lot more carbs now. So I eat around 300 grams of carbs a day. Yeah, it's a lot. So it's not a lot. It's just more than most people eat. And actually, it's a really good number. Most people should aim for 300 grams of carbohydrates per day. Now, my blood sugar, you want to know, did that affect my blood sugar? It actually did. So when you eat fat, it will affect you, not right away. It will affect you later. So for me, it affects me the following day. And I know it based on my numbers in the morning. So I noticed that if I eat fat, too much fat, maybe too many olives or too many nuts, the next morning my blood sugar will be different. So with this really low fat diet, I noticed that my morning blood sugars were 30 to 50 points lower. So that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so to summarize, what worked to lower my cholesterol is a low fat diet, very low fat, 10 to 15 grams of fat per day. A vegan diet, no animal products, 0. An oil-free diet, and I did completely oil-free for those 2 months, and adding moringa powder. So my total cholesterol dropped 31 points, and my LDL cholesterol dropped 21 points. So now my LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, is now optimal. Yay! My total cholesterol is desirable, and my triglycerides are optimal. So it works for me. Let me know if it works for you, and give it time, and don't just sort of do it. There's no moderation in this. You got to go all in. If you want to lower your cancer risk, You'll want to watch this short video on which foods are highest and lowest in methionine, a toxic amino acid. I was shocked to learn that a food most people think is healthy is the highest in methionine. You might also want to check out this video to see my before and after photos from a detox program. Any person can change their health trajectory, and you can contact me if you want my help. Go to my website, The High Five Diet, helping people improve their health, sharing my delicious recipes with lots of yummy carbs gives me a high like no drug can, which is why I do it. For my favorite low-fat, oil-free, plant-based vegan recipes, order my cookbook with nutrition facts on how to prevent and reverse disease, which chronicles my personal health and weight loss story through my website, thehighfivediet.com.